Hey guys, and welcome back to another day with T. If you're not subscribed yet already, make sure that you do so that you don't miss more content about my shrimp. Let's get into the video. So if you've been here for a while, you might have remembered me setting up this shrimp tank for my red cherry shrimp. And it started out as the tree, the little bonsai tree with the little tiny clumps of moss on it. And now it is coated in lush green fluffy moss, as well as the ground is also covered in the same moss, and it has literally become one of my favorite tanks that I have. So due to my love for this tank that I created with my red cherry shrimp, I decided that I wanted this entire row of 15-gallon aquariums to be dedicated to shrimp. Now, while we were in New York for the Fins and Fury boxing match, I was so lucky to have these Blue Dream shrimp very generously gifted to me from Kat from Kat's Aquatics. You might remember, I've been feeding her food for about a year now to my original shrimp. So, today is the day where it is finally time to set this up properly, because I was so tired that night that we brought them home that I just chucked them in here with a piece of wood and some moss that we took from Tyrese's tank. Please excuse my mess of cords from these lights. Joey just got me to trade him these lights for these ones so that each one can have its own individual light. See, this one just got switched, and I have not figured out the cords yet. So pretend the cords are not such a mess. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do with this tank here to start the process of setting it up and scaping it beautifully, just like this one, is to suck up this mulm, also known as detritus, and just get that out of there, because if I don't do that, when I add substrate, it's just going to blow around and then end up sitting and settling on top of the substrate, which is just not the look I'm going for. This is the substrate that I plan on using. It is just a lighter sand, pretty fine substrate, and I had it left over from, I believe I first used it when I set up, well, when Joey helped me set up the original Tropheus tank in the tank there where the angels are just being held, as well as that wood. But in my opinion, the nice light substrate will really make the blue of these shrimp pop. I have my bucket here to collect the water and mulm, as well as this little hose to suck it out. What I'm going to do is be very careful that I don't suck up any of the shrimp. I think I'm gonna need to scooch this light over while I open this. Yep. Alright, so just gonna suck out the mulm into my bucket. So if you have a look in there, it is just all brown and yucky, and that's what would have ended up happening to the water in the tank if I didn't do this step. Just gonna shift this piece of wood over very slowly so that we don't stir things up too much, and continue on to suck out this mulm that I just revealed, while making sure that we don't suck up any of our shrimpy friends. Once again, I'm just gonna shift this piece of wood slowly over here so we don't stir up the mulm too much. And I'm going to work on sucking out the mulm from the other side. We've got a little bit clogged up here. So if you get clogged up, just remove. See, we got a little bit of the moss stuck in there. Just take that out and then replace this back on. And back to it. I think I'm just gonna remove this piece of wood right now entirely, just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Okay, so yesterday I actually discovered a very buried, which means she's carrying eggs, shrimp in here, which made me so excited. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to spot her more easily now once I have this tank scaped. So I think I'll let that settle and try it one more time. There she is. Our very buried shrimp. Oh, she jumped away from my finger. I also have this heater in here. And I think I'm gonna see if I can put it against the back wall. Like that. So it won't be too noticeable. I was going to try without a heater, but I just didn't feel like the water was quite warm enough. It just felt a little bit too chilly for my liking. And the shrimp were a lot more active once I added the heater in. This is our water full of Mullen, and I'm going to go dump that and then bring the bucket back. So let's give that one more little go around to get rid of the last bit of debris. So that looks pretty good. I think that's probably about as much as we're gonna get out. Obviously I'm gonna have to replace the water. This time around, the water is a lot less brown than it just was the first time. So I'm gonna dump this, and then I'm going to bring my substrate, take out the amount that I believe I'll use, and rinse it because I don't want it to be all dusty in the tank when I first add it in. I'm just gonna wipe this out with a piece of paper towel to get out all the old grime that's in this bucket that I don't want in my tank. And I also don't want to rinse down the drain. Now our bucket looks almost brand new. I'm gonna add in some substrate, and I'm not gonna add too much because I don't want to have more than I need. But just the amount that looks like I want. Pour it into my bucket here, and then I can always add more. I'm just gonna rinse it so that my tank doesn't get all cloudy and dusty when I add it to my tank. There we go. I'm gonna bring this little cup with me so I can scoop it into the tank. I'm just gonna scoop the substrate that we just rinsed off in the bathtub in with this little red Solo cup that I had by the tub. Yeah, I definitely think this was the right color choice. But I also am probably going to require more substrate than I rinsed, which is fine because we have more. Maybe not though. I do just want a thin layer of it. Now I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me just dry my arm off and adjust your view. There we go. That's much better. My apologies. See, the already wet substrate just sinks to the bottom, and we don't deal with it blowing around the tank and not being able to see inside the tank. I think this actually might just be the right amount. Move our moss over. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We have just the right amount. Not to toot my own horn, but I don't think I could have eyeballed a more perfect amount. rubbing my hand across it just to even it out. Sorry about the lighting, guys. Lighting is a bit of a challenge in here. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to replace this piece of wood back into the tank for them, or if I want to use the other bonsai tree for right beside the original shrimp tree. This bonsai tree is bigger than the one over there. Let's have a look. So this is the bonsai tree, which I could put in here next to the original one. Maybe I could put it off in the corner and then put this other piece of wood over on the side. Let's see. What do you guys think of that? Or is it just weird? Let's see about decorating this with some of the moss. I'm just gonna stick it on as opposed to gluing it on. Now I'm putting this moss on under the water instead of above the water because I'm literally just sticking it in the branches of the tree. And I figured it's just as easy to do it this way rather than taking the tree out of the water and doing it just to put it back in the water. It's working just fine. This moss has grown a little bit more longer than the moss on the tree in the other shrimp tank, so I might have to give it a few days and then trim it to shape it a little bit more because it is a little bit wild, a little shaggier, a little bit longer. And Joey scaped his betta tank with 3 of these bonsai trees, which reminded me that they float, so I was able to sink it over in the angelfish tank in advance so that I wouldn't have to deal with it floating. This is quite a generous amount of moss that we got from Tyrese's tank. So as I said, it does look a little bit wild and the water is a little bit murky because the moss from Tyrese's tank is longer and a little bit more crazy going than how it grew in this shrimp tank here. But I can give it a few days to figure itself out on that tree, and then I can try to shape it so it looks a little bit nicer like this one does. But I actually don't even think it looks all that bad. Now, I feel like I might want to leave this piece of wood in here as well with it and put the moss along over top of that one. Although I got some of this other moss or plant from Aquarica, and I might cover the log, the other wood, in that. I have a little chunk of it over here. Let me see. I think I'm gonna take this chunk out. I'm actually not sure what this is called, but I like it. And I think it would look good if we could get that to grow all over this log. With this tree with the other moss on this side here. I'm gonna borrow a little bit more of it from our yellow shrimp tank. And stuff it in on this side. And maybe it'll grow, not sure if it grows like that, but maybe it'll grow over this piece of wood, which I think would look kind of cool. So just stuff it on spots where I can get it to stick, like so. So that's just stuffed into the log there, and the tree on the side. I don't mind it. I kind of like how it looks. We need to wait for the little bit of disruption from my hands being in the tank to settle back down, but I honestly don't mind how that looks if I can get this tree to like be shaped nice and then have that piece of wood covered in that other plant. Obviously I need to top this water back up as well. Let me see if I can brighten this up. The shrimp seem to be happy. Let me know what you guys think. Again, picture this being a little bit nicer shaped like that one. Well, this is quite a jungle of moss, but I don't even mind how it looks right now, to be honest. And then this getting more covered in this plant. I think this plant will do that. Hopefully. But for a start, I feel like that, I don't even mind that. I like that. And I like the light substrate. What do you guys think? Is it secretly really bad? I don't know. Maybe we just need to give it time to grow in. Let's replace the water that we took out while we got rid of the Mullen. Okay, I don't even mind how this looks. I kind of think it looks good. Let me show you. Maybe we could add some Indian almond leaves to the ground. Just like around the bottom of the wood. It's just super simple, which is all I'm going for. So remember at Aquarica we got these Indian almond leaves. Let's see. I think these might float though too. I just stuff them underneath the log there. Definitely wants to float. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like this tank a lot. I like it so far, and I feel like it's only gonna get better, just like this one did. I know we have a buried blue girl in here, and I can't wait for this shrimp tank to explode in population. Okay guys, I think that is gonna be it for this Blue Dream shrimp tank setup for now, until we see how it does growing over the next few weeks. Be sure to let me know what you think of this scape so far, and if you think it's only going to get better in time just like I do. Make sure if you enjoyed this video that you give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss us setting up the next shrimp tank down the line, which is the yellow shrimp tank, where we also have some very buried yellow shrimp. There's 2 females in here that are full of eggs. Full of little shrimplets. I'm not sure where the other one is right now. I've definitely spotted 2 of them, and I actually had that uploaded on my Instagram story. If you don't follow me yet on Instagram, make sure that you do. It is at Tamara Marie Mullen, and it is also in the description of this video. But make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss setting this tank up.